Welcome to Living and Learning International's professional development video series, designed to equip you both personally and professionally. Hi, my name is Greg Belgum, and on today's video, I want to share with you about digital technology. Whether you're going into some high-tech field like IT or computer science, or something all the way on the other end of the spectrum, like education or social work or global studies, you're going to use some type of software to help you in your day-to-day activities. Employers have identified that there are 8 core competencies that they're looking for in candidates to be successful in the workplace. And digital technology is one of those 8 core competencies. And so today, I want to share with you 3 steps that you can implement right now as you begin mastering digital technology. Okay, step 1, stay current. It's important for you to stay up to date and knowledgeable about the technology that's being used in your space. So every field or industry has unique needs when it comes to completing day-to-day activities. And that really is the best thing that software can do for us. It can remove the redundant tasks from our workflow so that we can get back to creating, developing, thinking. See, you were hired because you can think creatively in a way that a computer or a robot just can't. Let the computer do some of the busy work so that you can get back to doing what you really want to do and were meant to do, which is think creatively. So awareness, we're talking about staying current on what's going on in your space. Now, there's a few ways that you can do this, but one of the things that I'd recommend first is checking in with actual professionals who are already in the field. So they're going to be people who are using software every day or at least aware of what the leading technology is in your space. So ask them. The second thing you can do is follow thought leaders as well as companies on places like Twitter and LinkedIn. There they'll post regularly about what they're adding to their business, of their operations. Thought leaders will talk about emerging technologies. That really can be a great source of getting information. And the third thing is publications. So industry publications are going to be really specific to your niche, or you can follow general tech publications. 3 that I spend a lot of time checking out are TechCrunch, Wired, and Mashable. All 3 of those are putting out information regularly that really is helpful and relevant to me in a really specific field that I'm in. Okay, the second step is to move from simple awareness of the technology to actually learning it for yourself. Step 2, learn for yourself. Current technology is always changing, and new software is regularly being developed. In order to stay current in your space and field, you'll need to build a habit of actually learning, active learning. By being up to speed on what's going on, you demonstrate to a future employer that you're a go-getter. You didn't wait to be told what to research or what to learn about. You went out there and got the information and the knowledge and the skills yourself. And that's awesome. So there's a couple of recommendations I would have under Learn for Yourself. The first would be to take a close look at the software that you already have access to. Whether you're in school or you're in an internship, or maybe you're already employed full-time, there's probably some software that you're using. But I bet you picked it up, you did some of the initial functionality, and that's where you stopped. But there's probably some tools or some features that would actually help you in your day-to-day a lot more that you aren't using yet. So click around. Be curious, explore it. One of the best ways to learn about a software is to go to that company's website and check out their help center. They'll have a help center, maybe a help suite. They might have a YouTube channel with tutorial videos. Any of those will give you really good overview and insight into what all the software can do. And you'll probably pick up some helpful tips and tricks for that software. But really, more than just learning 1 or 2 features, we're talking about mastering technology in general. And so having an attitude and approach of just learning and being curious really will help you get ahead. Sometimes when I'm using a software, there might be a specific feature that I want, or I wonder, can this piece of the software talk to that? Or where's that button? What does that do? When I'm looking for something really specific, I'll probably do a Google search first. And sometimes the first few articles don't give me the answer that I need. That's okay. I need to keep digging. Sometimes it's not until the 3rd or 4th or fifth place that I look before I find the functionality that I'm looking for. We're talking about complex software here, so it kind of makes sense that it wouldn't all just be so simple. So be curious, dig into the software that's already right in front of you. The second thing I would recommend doing is learning the software that is in your field that maybe you don't have access to yet. So in step one, I talked about staying current and learning about what are the common tools and platforms that are being used in your space. For learn for yourself, for the second step, you'll want to dig into those tools and softwares. So how to do that if you're not already having access to them? Well, one of the best places is to take an online course. You can take online courses through a few different platforms, well, through a lot of different platforms. Some that I would recommend would be Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, Khan Academy, even YouTube. There are some really helpful YouTube channels out there where you can learn about software that you don't have access to yet. So learn for yourself, explore the software that's right around you, and dig into the software that's really common and typical in your field or industry before you get to that job. Once you've begun mastering some of these online tools, you'll then want to move to actually showing off your knowledge to future employers. So step 3 is showcase your knowledge to employers. Now, there's an entry-level version to this step and then a pro version. The entry-level version is creating a LinkedIn profile, which I'm going to spend some more time talking about, but the pro version is actually building a personal website. Platforms like Squarespace and Wix make this really easy and accessible for someone who isn't super techy. And in this video, we've been talking about themes like being a go-getter, going above and beyond, and jumping into technology that you haven't learned before. So what a perfect way to do that than building a website. Building a personal website is a space that you can showcase your experiences, your knowledge, your past work, kind of where you're at in life. But even more than that, building a website demonstrates that you're engaged in digital technology. So I really would stress and emphasize that being a good option. But it is more intensive and it does take a lot of work. So the entry-level version is creating a LinkedIn profile. Now, LinkedIn is a social networking site, kind of like Facebook, except that it's focused exclusively on your professional network. I've heard some people describe it as simply an online place to host my resume. Now, while that's partially true in a small sense, LinkedIn really is so much more than that. So I want to share with you some details about why LinkedIn is really a space that you should be spending some of your time. So LinkedIn is a single place to accomplish a lot of the things that I've talked about in this video so far. So yes, you will post your work experience and your education through a resume-style profile, but you can post a lot more than that on your profile. You can talk about courses that you've taken, certificates that you've received. You can talk about volunteer experience. You can even have recommendations that other people have written about you right on your profile. These recommendations are kind of like getting a Yelp review, but for your professional work. Kind of cool. So that's your profile. But then the social networking part. You can follow thought leaders and companies in your field. So we were talking about that a lot in step 1 of this video, is just to stay current. And what a great way to do that than by following thought leaders and companies, and then not just seeing what they're posting, but actively engaging. You can ask questions, you can share your opinion through comments and groups. So such a great way to engage with other professionals in your space. In addition to following thought leaders, you can continue your learning. Step 2, we talked about learn for yourself. LinkedIn has a very extensive catalog that is titled LinkedIn Learning with courses on all kinds of content. So give that a look. You can also begin to build your network. And so you'll add contacts right on LinkedIn, people that are old classmates or professors, of course, your family and friends. So begin to build your network through LinkedIn. And then lastly, through LinkedIn, you can see job postings and apply right through the site, just through a one-click apply, and then employers know that you've applied. You can also mark on your profile that you're actively on the job search, and then recruiters will proactively seek you out when there's a good fit. So yeah, just the amount of things that you can do through LinkedIn is pretty awesome. And it's more than just a static place to post your experience, but really a place to stay engaged just in the professional conversation going on in your space. Now, while we're talking about LinkedIn, I do want to spend a couple minutes talking about networking in general, because I think it's really important and relevant. Networking is the act of developing your social and professional contacts. More than just your family and friends and maybe some of your classmates, your network is the broader circle of people that you engage with. But it's not people you just want to ask for a job from. See, the 3 rules of networking are give, give, give. People who are really good at networking know that it's all about how much they put out there. They make connections, they give referrals, they make introductions as much as possible, knowing that at some point in the future, when the time is right, maybe that person will return the favor to them. I think about the perfect example for me. There's this guy that I was chatting with a year ago, and we were having a really interesting conversation, and haven't spoken to him since. But here I am a year later, I read an article that reminded me of that exact conversation, and I sent it over and said, hey, thinking about you, how are things going in this space based on our conversation? And that restarted that conversation. So doing that frequently and broadly is really what networking can be all about. So it's all about giving. The other thing about networking is that it's not something to start doing when you're on the job search. Then you're way too late. Build your network now, and LinkedIn is such a great place to do that. So don't wait until you're on the job search to create a LinkedIn profile. Do that today. Okay, so what are our takeaways? Well, first, stay current in the field by following thought leaders, by asking professionals who are already in the field, and by reading publications. 2, learn for yourself how to actually use the software. Be curious and explore the software that you already have access to. Also, you can explore further learning in software you don't yet have access to through online courses. And step 3, showcase to future employers that you are savvy when it comes to technology. You can do this by creating a LinkedIn profile and regularly updating and staying engaged on that platform. Pro tip, you can build your own website. That really will demonstrate your willingness to go above and beyond. Now, while technology may seem big and overwhelming to some, and for others you might be a digital native, so this feels redundant, technology will always be a part of your work, and there will always be something for you to learn. So it will be a lifelong learning experience, and using these 3 steps, I think, will help jumpstart your mastery of digital technology. Thanks for tuning in.